February 9th, 2022 Riverside Township Board of Trustees meeting to order. Please rise. And Trustee Carroll, would you please lead us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Clerk Drapka, would you please call the roll?
Trustee Blau.
Here.
Trustee Carroll.
Present.
Trustee Clark.
Present.
Trustee Heilenbach.
Present.
Supervisor Wilt.
Here.
Let the record show that Clerk Drapka is in attendance, and we have a quorum.
Thank you very much. You have before you the approval of the minutes of the January 12th Board of Trustees. What is your pleasure with those minutes?
I make a motion, we approve the minutes of January 12, 2022.
I second.
I have a motion by Trustee Heilenbach, seconded by Trustee Blau, to approve the minutes of January 12th, 2022. Are there any additions or corrections or discussion? Hearing none. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion is carried. Thank you. Next, we have the minutes of the Committee of the Whole from February 1st. What is your pleasure?
I make a motion that we approve the minutes of February 1st, Committee of the Whole.
I'll second it.
I have a motion by Trustee Clark, seconded by Trustee Heilenbach, to approve the minutes of the Committee of the Whole from February 1st, 2022. Are there any additions or corrections or discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion is carried. All right. Next, we have communications. Are there any communications?
No communications.
Thank you very much. Our next item is the public comments. This would be other than grants, which we will address next. Are there any other public comments? Not this time. Thank you. Then we will move on to new business, the first item being grants. And the first grant to be considered is the Access to Care. Is there a representative from Access to Care? Would you approach the podium, introduce yourself, and if you'd like to just give a brief synopsis of the grant?
Absolutely. Glasses on here. Might be better without. Good evening. My name is Kimberly Mertz, and I am the COO of Access to Care. Access to Care provides primary health care services to low-income, uninsured, and underinsured residents of suburban Cook County. And we've been doing this now for over 30 years. The program has 3 key components: the ability to see a primary care doctor for $5 a visit, the ability to receive lab and radiology services for $5 a test, and the ability to receive prescription medication for $15 to $40 for a 30-day supply. These benefits are available on an unlimited as-needed basis and are really the core of what the Access to Care program is. But in addition to that, over the years we have added behavioral health services, which are available through a clinical psychologist. We have an opioid risk management program in place, which is covering medications such as Narcan. And our pharmacy contract includes all major pharmacy chains, which are able to provide diabetic test strips, flu and pneumonia vaccines for free. And we've also added a prescription relief fund, which will help members cover their co-pays if necessary. I think the one thing I would want to add is that we are still feeling the effects of the COVID pandemic. We've seen that Access to Care members are sicker than the general population. Our latest figures showed that 25% of our members are diabetic compared to 6% of what they were showing in the general population. And 25% of Access to Care members receive medications for at least 3 disease states. So we have a lot of people that are quite ill and need of our care. We've served over 130,000 people since we began back in 1988. And in 2020, we saw an 11% increase, which continued into 2021, and we're still seeing that into 2022, that people are really in need of care. I'm going to read something very quickly. I know we've got time constraints, but I think this is a good example of an access to care patient. This is a very brief letter that we received. I am the daughter of someone who has had access to care benefits for the past few years. I pray that you're never in a position where your diabetic mother hesitated seeing a doctor because she could not afford it and you could do nothing. I saw her and my dad working tirelessly at just above minimum wage jobs. These jobs prevented them from getting any Medicaid benefits, and they could not afford insurance on the marketplace. Their employers were small enough to not offer health insurance. I did my research in math and found that more than 3/4 of my mom's income would go to pay the premiums on a bare essentials health insurance plan. This would leave barely anything to pay for food and utilities. Then I found out about access to care. It allowed my mother to have a caring provider that managed her health without her worrying that she will not be able to afford dinner. Access to care covers her doctor's visits. She's very responsible and follows through with all doctor recommendations. She is so happy that she is someone that could provide care for her. I have no idea what to do if this program does not exist. This is a typical access to care patient, and these are the residents that are being served in Riverside Township. Does anybody have any questions? I know I've been here before and I see familiar faces, so.
Are there any questions from the board? If there are none, I'll entertain a motion.
I make the motion that we grant access to care. $5,000 grant.
Okay, thank you. I have a motion. Do I hear a second?
Second.
I have a motion by trustee Clark, seconded by trustee Blau, to award the $5,000 grant to Access to Care as requested. Any further questions or discussion? Then Clerk Drapko, would you please call the roll?
Thank you.
Trustee Blau.
Yes.
Trustee Carroll.
Yes.
Trustee Clark.
Yes.
Trustee Heilenbach.
Yes.
Supervisor Wilt.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Very well. Okay, the next item is Best Buddies International.
Hello, my name is Adam Wilt. Thank you again for having us here, and I'm the state director for Best Buddies in Illinois. I have had the honor of presenting to this board before, but really more than anything, have the honor of working with an organization that continues to have a strong presence and a growing presence in the Riverside Township community. We are very proud that our chapters, and actually I noticed the numbers here, we have a new system for our databases, so a couple of these numbers are probably higher. I know that I just recently met with the Riverside Brookfield chapter, and they have over 100 members in that chapter. Our program at RB continues to grow. We are really excited. We actually have some brand new advisors for that chapter who've been really taking the helm. They've been holding a lot of activities. Last year, that chapter was also recognized for their virtual engagement because they were able to really activate their membership, even though there were a lot of limitations with being physically able to coordinate activities. I know a lot of our activities as an organization are very focused on one-to-one friendships. That's really the core of Best Buddies, is helping people with intellectual and developmental disabilities be included and be part of the populations within our communities. And we're really excited this year. You may notice for one of the things that we're looking to do is we are in the process of growing our Citizens Adult Friendship Program as well. Actually, there was a meeting last night just over in Brookfield. We have a couple of our former advisors from Riverside Brookfield High School are helping to create an adult friendship chapter so we can continue the friendships that we have at the elementary, middle school, and high school level for those who are beyond that program. For those of you who don't know, people with intellectual and developmental disabilities in Illinois age out of school programs at the age of 22. Friendships and the need for them doesn't end there, though. And so we're really excited to be adding this program in the coming year. We are currently working with volunteer leaders. We're really excited. This is a program that's relatively new for Best Buddies to have chapter as a adult friendship program. We have a large friendship presence in Chicago with adults, with over 250 people in that program in the Chicago area. But we're really excited to have some community leadership to build that. So we're working with those volunteers in the area and to really making sure that our participants can continue to have those friendships and see the benefits of friendship through the duration of life. So we're really excited for that. I know in the past I did include some information. In the past, the township has asked to be attributed as a sponsor for the Friendship Walk because that gives a lot of the students who are part of those chapters the opportunity to see the visibility. The logo is on the t-shirt. It doesn't change the way we serve that grant. I know that we've talked a little bit about that in the past, but really for us, it continues to help us provide those chapters. We are also looking at, as elementary schools are continuing to pick up their presence, we're looking to continue to grow into the other elementary schools in the district as well. So are there any questions? I know that's a lot.
Thank you for all the good, hard work that you do in the community.
Really grown it over the last couple of years. Nice job.
Thank you. We're really excited, and we're so proud that this community, being a resident myself, it's so exciting to see how much the community really embraces Best Buddies and embraces inclusion for everybody with disabilities. So thank you.
What is your pleasure?
Motion to grant Best Buddies International their request for $5,000 grant.
Thank you.
I'll second it.
Thank you. I have a motion by trustee Blau, seconded by trustee Heilenbach, to award the $5,000 requested in a grant to Best Buddies International. Any more discussion or questions? Then if the clerk will please call the roll.
Trustee Blau.
Yes?
Trustee Carroll.
Yes.
Trustee Clark.
Yes.
Trustee Heilenbach.
Yes.
Supervisor Wilt.
Yes,
Thank you.
Motion carried.
thank you very much. Okay, next item is the Riverside Community Garden.
Hello, good evening. My name is Katie Gregory, and I'm here to represent the Riverside Community Garden, along with Elaine Ruglis. She's another board member. The Riverside Community Garden is hosted on the Ascension Lutheran Church land on Natal. We're an Illinois not-for-profit organization, and we're dedicated to bringing the benefits of food growing to residents of Riverside Township, and the surrounding area. We established the garden in 2019, and this is our 4th growing season. The produce that is grown in the garden is donated to the community, and the garden is planted and maintained by volunteers. This past year, in 2021, our goals had been to promote food growing within the community. We were able to do that by, we installed a large seed library on the church's land, which, with their permission, of course, and we're able to host 3 seed and plant swap events that had more than 120 people attending, where we sent over 200 plants home with gardeners. Those of us who start from seed, we grow some extras, come and trade tomatoes and have fun like that. Other things we had done, we hosted some educational classes over Zoom on seed starting, vanilla making, other types of garden activities. And then we have a large Facebook group. That's really how we've been communicating mostly, especially during the pandemic. Another one of our goals is to provide fresh produce to the food-secure individuals in our area. And we do that because the Presbyterian Church's food pantry has a refrigerator. That's where we typically donate our produce. But we've also done U-Pick days, where members of the community, regardless of their food insecurity, are welcome to pick or harvest. Other things we've done, we've provided the garden produce to Meals Do Matter for 125 meals. And so that is what we've done in terms of growing these vegetables. And then, another goal of our group is to just create opportunities to build a community, over something like gardening or just shared interests. And we've been able to do that by hosting story times in conjunction with the Riverside Library, hosting garden yoga with Stephanie Roldan's Back to Nature organization, hosted Girl Scout troop meetings. The Girl Scouts they built a little sensory garden area, which was really lovely. And we've collaborated with, We had our Old Farmers Day, our garden cleanout day, and at that time we hosted a performance by the Riverside Youth Group, their Green Bridge Troupe. They sang for us, and have really just looked for opportunities to partner with other organizations to be outside, to grow things, and to have fun. Our goal, what we use these funds for, we are just reliant on donations. We need to buy seed, we need to buy additional amendments to improve the soil each year, food deliveries. We also had been purchasing on Saturdays from the Brookfield Farmers Market some additional produce to supplement what our harvest is, because radishes in June are great, but it would be nice to have something else to go with it. So we've been able to use some of the funds from this grant to be able to supplement the harvest that we're able to provide. And so happy to answer any questions, but thank you for the opportunity to request another grant.
Thank you. What is your pleasure? Are there any questions?
I have a couple of questions. The education and the food deliveries, who provides that education and the food delivery?
Well, I'm the most novice gardener, so I'm not the education chair. Elaine, would you like to speak up?
Sure. They're provided by members of our garden community. So they would be either members of our board, or we seek outside experts in different fields.
Right, okay. And the reason I ask this is because we can't, and correct me if I'm wrong, Supervisor Wilt, we can't just cut a check for the community garden.
Well, actually, now that they have legal status.
We can do that?
Yes.
Yes, because,
And we have bank accounts.
yeah, up until now, it's been tricky, and we've had to pay individual vendors.
Yes.
But yay.
So we have taken your suggestion to heart and done those necessary steps. And
Yes.
we appreciate.
And we appreciate it, and I think it's going to serve you well, too,
And
to
the
have
food
that.
deliveries, that budget line item, that is when we're supplementing the harvest
Sure.
with the food from.
You've come a long way since we first started with, 6 bags of dirt, a couple of bags, or a couple of packages of seed,
And hose.
and hose, and that stuff. You've come a long way, and you should be very proud of yourselves. You're doing a real service to the community, real service. I make a motion, we approve the grant for $3,500 for the Riverside Township Community Garden.
I'll second.
I have a motion by trustee Heilenbach, seconded by trustee Carroll, to approve the $3,500 grant to the Riverside Community Garden. Are there any other questions? Any discussion? Hearing none, then Clerk Drapko, will you call the roll?
Trustee Blau.
Yes.
Trustee Carroll.
Yes.
Trustee Clark.
Yes.
Trustee Heilenbach.
Yes.
Supervisor Wilt.
Yes,
Motion carried.
thank you. Congratulations.
Keep up the good work, ladies.
Yes.
Fine job.
All right, next up is the Little Food Pantry.
Hello, I'm Linda Ned Carney from Riverside Presbyterian Church, and I'm here along with Suzanne Vogel, and we work with the Little Food Pantry. And first, I want to thank you for your previous donations to the pantry. As you can see in our application, the use for the pantry continues to grow year after year after year. Already this year, the church has committed from its budget $1,200. We spent that much money this year, and that is with nearly daily donations from the community. The garden has been wonderful in the summer. In the winter, we have people who, for example, today, a woman said somehow she got a 10-pound bag of potatoes in her Instacart order that she didn't ask for. But she didn't need 10 pounds of potatoes. Could she bring them to the pantry? And our answer was, of course. So the community has been very generous. We're now partnering not only with Aldi for fresh produce, but also Riverside Foods for fresh produce. And yet, the need is greater than we can meet without help from people like you. So we very much appreciate what you've done in the past and hope that you will be able to help us again this year.
My question is, when you said 1,200 so far this year, is that in your fiscal year or this calendar year?
This
already?
calendar year.
Wow.
We have made that many, we've gone to Aldi that many times this year. calendar year.
Are there any other questions? Do I hear a motion?
I make a motion that we grant Riverside Presbyterian Church Little Food Pantry grant in an amount of $1,200.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Huh?
Fight for it. Okay. I have a motion by trustee Clark, seconded by trustee Blau, to approve a $1,200 grant to the Riverside Presbyterian Church Little Food Pantry. Is there any discussion? Are there any more questions?
Did we want to include to purchase all the gift cards is what they prefer, it says on there?
We can, if you want to make that part of the motion, but the grant was requested that way, so we would fulfill it as requested.
Okay.
Okay? Then I have a motion for $1,200 and a second. Clerk Dropka, would you call the roll?
Trustee Blau.
Yes?
Trustee Carroll.
Yes.
Trustee Clark.
Yes.
Trustee Hollenbach.
Yes.
Supervisor Wilt.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you so very much.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's a great service.
Next up is Aging Care Connections.
Hi, thank you for allowing me to be here tonight. I represent Aging Care Connections. I am the new executive director. I started October 1st, 2021, and I'm very happy to be here. Aging Care Connections is the single point of entry for any older adult 60 or over to access any type of services. And what we do is actually, we do information and assistance, so we will assist anybody either directly or we will refer them to where they need to be. We are the Adult Protective Services Agency. We are the case coordination in the community. We have a caregiver support program. We do special diet home delivered meals. We do regular diet home delivered meals. We have a congregate lunch program. We have a transitional care program, and we have the Riverside Township Community Resource Center. So we have a wide variety and a continuum of services. It's like the safety net for older adults in the community, anybody 60 and over, and 18 to 59 disabled if it's an adult protective services case, or if it's options counseling, finding out where they need to go. Basically, we are the hub for any information and resources for anybody 60 and over, and we will definitely find anybody information that they need throughout the whole state. Adult Protective Services has been something, in Riverside, we've had 12 cases the last year, and they can be very intensive. Self-neglect cases can take many, many hours. Trying to get, psychologists, psychiatrists, maybe people taken out of their home because they need psychiatric evaluations, having homes cleaned up, things of that nature. Caregivers not knowing what to do, and then having somebody calling in a neglect case because, like, spouse for spouse, let's say wife has always taken care of husband, now all of a sudden wife is sick, husband really doesn't know what to do, and it's really like needing to know what you need to do, where you need to go, what type of resources are out there and what type of help is out there. So those types of cases are always very heartbreaking, but then once you get services in and you get that, that relief for that caregiver, it's very beneficial, and that way people can really age in place as long as possible. So we are basically that big safety net for people to access services.
Thank you.
Do you have any
Are there any questions?
Just a comment, Desiree was the one that put together the application for the Township of Illinois Award that the CRC won for innovation, and it's a great award and something that we're real proud of. And Aging Care Connections does a lot of good work for not only the community, but for our Community Resource Center. So I'm very appreciative, Desiree, very appreciative.
And we did service over 872 unduplicated clients in Riverside Township last year, so we're really happy about that. We do service 38 towns, 5 townships, and we did service over 9,000 people last year, too.
It's wonderful.
Thank you.
I make a motion, we approve the grant for $5,000 to Aging Care Connections.
I have a motion by trustee Heilenbach to award the $5,000 to Aging Care Connections. Do I hear a second? Very good. I have a motion by trustee Heilenbach, seconded by trustee Carroll, to award the $5,000 as requested in a grant to Aging Care Connections. And are there any other questions or discussion? If not, then Clerk Drapka, would you please call the roll?
Trustee Blau.
Yes.
Trustee Carroll.
Yes.
Trustee Clark.
Yes.
Trustee Heilenbach.
Yes.
Supervisor Wilt.
Yes.
Motion carried.
And finally, we have a request from Riverside Police Department.
Good evening. My name is Commander Leo Cota with the Riverside Police Department. Tonight, I'm here on behalf of the Riverside Police Department, also in conjunction with the Riverside Fire Department. We are requesting funds to purchase a Yamaha side-by-side off-road vehicle equipped with a Kimtech Medlight transport system for deployment and use for medical and patrol needs within the village. The police department has seen an upswing in youth drinking parties off areas where our vehicles cannot get to, and vandalization of public parks and property, including our tennis courts. The Riverside Fire Department would be able to use this vehicle also for large festivals, community events, an increase in water rescues that we've seen, medical responses for the sledding hill, and bike path injuries that we've also seen an uptick with the new bike path coming to Riverside. The Yamaha side-by-side will also be set up as a transport for individuals who are hurt and need further medical assistance to transport to the hospital. The vehicle also has the capabilities of towing capacity that will be able to pull our boat in needs of water rescues. The Riverside has many natural sloping wooded areas along with parks, recreation spaces, and off-road waterway areas. This equipment would be a great help to first responders in improving response time, allow patrol opportunities in parks, and off the current areas we're able to access with our vehicles. Overall, the vehicle would be would allow first responders to perform critical duties where other emergency vehicles currently in our possession do not allow us to do. So I was already warned. I know this is a pretty high ask. The only problem was the actual cost of the vehicle. So Supervisor Wilt did warn me there would be some questions. So, but that is the cost of the vehicle. So that's where the numbers came in. I'm sure we're gonna have some questions about this one. So
Yeah. I've got some.
I knew you would. So I just want to say a few things. Commander Coder approached me with this project that he started putting together and asked what I thought, and I told him to run with it. I said, you know, this is your thing. You know, you're in a new position here as a commander at our police department, and I think it's very important for him to get out in the community, see people, present different things. This is something he feels that is needed by our departments and by our village, and I told him to move forward with it. Something about Leo Coder, he was born here in Riverside. He's been on the police department for 20 years, and there's not a day he walks into work that he doesn't try to make this community better. And this is just one more way that he is looking to do that. And for me, that makes me very proud that he does that, because truly it shows his embedded nature with our community. And yes, it is a lot of money, you know, and I think we could have some discussion, and I know Trustee Heilenbach has some questions, I'm sure, and you know, we'll try to answer them the best we can, and we'll see where this comes out. So I appreciate everybody's time to at least hear this out and work with us and see if we can come up with something regarding this. So thank you.
Okay, questions?
I have a few.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Leo, I've known you forever, and congratulations on your promotion. And you've done a great job. You've been a great officer to the village of Riverside. How much of the fire department and police department budget is going into this vehicle?
That's what we're looking for, grants to fund it, because there are currently no availability. But again, the vehicle itself, and we can offset that. We were coming to the board asking for, and then, you know, I mean, if you were able to give us $5,000 or whatever the number was, we would have to offset that. I mean, even ordering the vehicle, just because of current status, I mean, we're a year out on like being able to get this right now, so we have some time to work on that.
Okay, well, you are familiar, and I know Matt is, Mavis Division 10 has a side-by-side that's available to every Division 10, so you could use that. If you wanted to, you could probably store it here. I believe at one time it was stored here. And you could use that. I do think that it went about in a backward way. The fire department should come up with a certain amount of money. The police department should come up with a certain amount of money. And if you're short, then you should approach the township and say, hey, help us out. Asking us for almost $20,000 for a vehicle, to me, and this is just me, is unreasonable. So, I mean, I would go back and see if you can fit something in your budget, this is just me.
Yeah.
And see, and then come back to us. We're always here to help, always. And that's all I have.
Okay, any other questions, comments?
I agree with you, Trustee Hollenbach.
At this point, what I see is our budget for programs wouldn't fund this whole thing at this point. We'd have to make some shifts, if the board so wanted to. And we're very close. Next month is the end of our budget year, our fiscal year. So if you can budget and we can budget, we might be able to pull it all together.
If you can come back again, Commander Coder.
Yes, sir.
And in our next, see if you can come up with some money from both the police department and the fire department, then come back to us with, okay, I've got $7,000 from the police department, I got $5,000 from the fire department, can you help us?
And the only reason this came up, again, I understand, prices are skyrocketing with everything.
Sure.
But the only reason this came up was because this was funded like 7 or 8 years ago for the Brookfield Police Department. So that's the only reason, and I don't know if
we've
this-
got questions on that too.
Yeah.
This board, but
Yeah, I don't know that this township funded that much. The closest we could find was about 12 years ago.
Was it that?
And that was maybe $9,000, not $19,000.
correct. I completely understand what you're saying, but I mean.
And I was thinking that it was possible that maybe it was a shared project among townships because Brookfield is covered by 3 different townships.
Right.
So it strikes me that, and we have such a small portion of it.
Right.
It strikes me that it would have been odd for us to fund the entire vehicle when a much greater part is proviso and a section is Lions as well. So, I mean, I don't know, but that was all, we could dive down into the catacombs to find the actual documentation for that grant, but I believe it was $9,000 that was the maximum that we found there.
As scary as it sounds, 9 years ago, that's probably what the cost of it would have been.
It
Fortunately,
could be, it
not
could very
today.
well be.
So,
I think Riverside funded that whole Brookfield
okay.
project. And also, I would ask the community, maybe have like a fire boot day or something, because this is for the residents of the community, and they're very generous.
Absolutely.
Stuff like this.
Come back and see us.
Yeah. Thank you for your time.
No, thank you.
Did you want to schedule this do you think that you would be able to come up with some of that? Because our next regular grant funding would not be until May, but this board could decide to consider this if there were some other portions perhaps contributed to by other entities.
Yes, we will definitely look at that and see what we can do on our end, and then
Let me know,
Maybe we'll
and
get-
would this board be willing to consider in an off month to do that?
Absolutely.
Okay,
Yes,
all right,
thank you.
No, thank you.
thank you for the service.
okay.
Is that procedure if you want to move to table it?
Right,
And
that's,
then you can vote it off the table
Right.
whenever
right, that was
everyone wants
just
to
about,
get together.
I was just about to ask for that. So do I have a motion to table this grant, and then we can bring it off the table in the future?
I make a motion, we table the grant, and we'll bring it up in the future.
Second.
Motion by trustee Hollenbach, seconded by trustee Carroll, to table this grant request and for future consideration. Thank you for understanding that. All right, all in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed, nay. Motion is carried. Thank you, gentlemen.
I give you an A for effort on it. I really will. It's worth a shot,
We had a gold star, we put that on top of your application.
Okay.
All right, thank you very much. And that concludes the grants. The next item is the approval of the new Township Employee Handbook that was given to all of you at a previous meeting for review. Are there any things that you would prefer to see changed? Or can I have a motion to approve that? I ask for the approval. I know it's an administrative thing, however, there are some references to decisions that are in the board's hands, so I think that the board should approve that manual. What is your pleasure?
I make a motion to approve the new Township Employee Handbook.
I have a motion by trustee Clark. Do I hear a second?
Seconded.
Then all in favor? If there's no discussion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion is carried. Thank you. All right, next up, we have an appointment to replace a member of the Riverside Township Mental Health Board who has indicated he would prefer to retire. Therefore, this is for an unexpired term.
Bless you.
And thank you. And this would be to approve the resolution of the Board of Trustees approving an appointment to the Mental Health Board of Kara Kalnitz of North Riverside as a member of the Riverside Township Mental Health Board for a term commencing today and terminating on December 31st, 2024. All ordinances and resolution or parts thereof in conflict herewith are hereby repealed, and this resolution will be in full force and effect from and after the date of its adoption. Do I have a motion to approve this resolution?
I make a motion that we approve Kara Kelnitz to the Riverside Township Mental Health Board. She's going to be a great addition.
I have a motion by trustee Heilenbach. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by trustee Blau. Any discussion? We all had the privilege of meeting Kara when she applied for the vacancy on this board. And she has mental health experience and administrative experience, and I think she's going to be a great asset to this board. I'm not sure. So I have a motion and a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion is carried. And she was unable to be here tonight. She had a work conflict, but she will be happily at the next mental health board meeting. Okay. The next item is the supervisor's report. First off, I want to, on behalf of Assessor Sitkowitz, she apologized that she couldn't be here this evening because there's a TAC board meeting where she is the treasurer and needed to report. But she did state that there's no news from her office currently, as there is no appeals period currently going on. My report, it's been a pretty busy month. Since our January meeting, I took part in the Riverside Chamber's Zoom meeting on January 19th, and the Chamber will be distributing a survey to help shape its future direction. Since they've tried to get re-energized, the response from the businesses has been slow, so they want to create a viable organization that serves the businesses as well as the community. So more on that later. I also participated in the TAC Supervisors Division, which I am the treasurer, and that was held virtually. Cook County provided a workshop on grants in which I participated, and I will apply for one of the grants for the bridge because that seems to be the only potential project within the two grant types that they discussed, and that was a transportation one, and it doesn't include pedestrian transportation, so let's hope we can get that. Speaking of that bridge, I don't have the written report of the lead-based paint test yet, but I did have verbal notice that the older parts of the bridge, those being the towers especially, did test positive for lead-based paint. I don't know if it will reduce the cost if the newer portions don't need remediation, but that's something to consider in when we pursue the bids. I also currently have 4 people on general assistance. It's a nice, low, steady number. I've had a few emergency assistance requests, but I also had a few inquiries who have not followed through, so that still, I may be gaining some more people on general assistance. I've had great cooperation and general assistance with the CRC, with the Community Resource Center, in dealing with the additional needs of some of the individuals that we serve. On Tuesday, the 25th, Trustee Heilenbach and I met with Riverside Village President Joseph Ballerine, Manager Jessica Francis, and the Public Safety Chief Matt Buckley at their request. And the nature of the conversation was regarding a cooperative effort to hire a social worker to serve Riverside. Brookfield and North Riverside share such a person with Broadview, and they utilize the services of Amida Health Systems for this position. They indicated that was made possible through Proviso Township's Mental Health Board. So we had a nice discussion. The village hopes to approve that contract at its next meeting. And I am going to let Trustee Hollenbach fill you in on the Mental Health Board's position on that. But the conversation did present the village representatives about some of the other programs that the Mental Health Board and the township sponsor. We were surprised that despite our newsletter, our website news, and Facebook posts, it's obvious that we need to better spread the word about our Community Resource Center. The resource guide as well, and the many other programs that the township and the Mental Health Board provide for the community. This will be a focus for this year, and today I noticed that President Ballerine shared the PSA that was filmed about the Community Resource Center on the Riverside Facebook page, so that sharing is a start. The Riverside Library, since then, has reached out about working together on a blood drive. They have a patron willing to recruit volunteers. The library's been in touch with the Red Cross, and the township could provide the venue. So there would be another partnership we're looking at. Aging Care Connections is working on some benefits outreach to seniors, and they may also partner with the township to do a presentation in the auditorium. They want to raise awareness of the various programs and benefits that are available to seniors. I hope to present more information on all these cooperative efforts in the coming months. I want to thank everyone for the understanding and care that you have shown at the recent passing of my brother. And as all the tasks that go with that loss are accomplished, I appreciate the freedom I had to deal with family matters. The township staff have held down the fort, and we've kept in touch by phone, email, and text when I needed to be elsewhere. I probably spend more time at the office than most of my supervisor counterparts, but in a township our size, I believe that the residents expect personal commitment and care, and I thank you. That's all I have, but I'll be glad to answer any questions you might have about what's going on in the office.
Been a little busy.
Always, always. All right, then trustees' reports. Trustee Carroll, do you have anything for us?
I do not,
Okay.
Supervisor.
Trustee Blau?
None.
Trustee Clark?
The senior exercise class is still going well. We're down a little bit in our numbers. We had 183 people participate in January, which is down from 205 in December.
We had some nasty weather there, though.
Yeah, we had some nasty weather, so I think that's, part of it. But still 183 people is very, very good. They have about 20 a class. I will be traveling to Springfield on February 25th for Township Officials of Illinois State Trustee meeting. Lobby Day is April 6th, which we all encourage everybody to attend. And they will have some educational events coming up for trustees. The next one's in March.
Very good. Thank you. Trustee Heilenbach?
Hi, good evening, fellow trustees. I have to report for the Mental Health Board. We had our budget meeting last night, and after the smoke cleared, we decided that we had some grant money to give out. As mentioned by Supervisor Wilt, we have decided to partner with the Village of Riverside on this Amida social worker. I don't want Riverside to be left on an island, and that's what was happening. You know, Brookfield has one provided by Proviso as well as North Riverside. It's not fair that the Riverside residents don't have that. I applaud Director Buckley for bringing this to our attention. In the future, I would hope that they maybe would plan with us on these type of things so we could help and maybe provide some services to them. The budget meeting went very, very well. We're getting pulled a lot of different ways now with this, with the way mental health is going. Our CRC is doing very well, building every day, and we need, as Supervisor Wilt said, we need to get out there more. I was shocked at the meeting that we had with the village that they didn't realize a lot of what we do. So we're gonna make that better, and that's on me. That's personally on me. Our next meeting is next Wednesday. We will approve the discretionary grants, including the one for Riverside Police, next Wednesday. It's 7 o'clock. And CIT training is off and running. We're still scheduled for February 28th. There's a new law in the state of Illinois that all officers have to be CIT trained by a certain date. We were fortunate to be ahead of the game, and we are starting to do that. I believe Brookfield has already sent us 5. I believe I saw that the dispatch center has got 2, and we're waiting on, you're finalizing yours, right?
I think we have 3 for police and 3 for fire also.
So you've got 6, and we're waiting for North Riverside. So we're going to have a nice crowd for it, and it's accredited through the state, and I'm really looking forward. I think this is a great program, especially for our township partners, police departments.
Do you want to define what CIT is for those who may not know?
Chris?
Crisis Intervention Team.
There you go. That's all right.
Yeah, thank you.
So CIT stands for Crisis Intervention Team, and all of our officers, all police officers in the state of Illinois, will have to go through this 40-hour program. It is an accredited program, recognized by the Illinois Law Enforcement Trainings and Standards Board. And personally, I went through it 4 years ago, and it's an excellent class. There's no doubt about it, and it will help us tremendously out in the field, dealing with a lot of these individuals that are in crisis. And it's very important. I can't thank the township enough for helping us with these classes. We are able to send some officers to other classes elsewhere, but having it here at Riverside is huge. You know, our officers come to work and they go right into class. It's perfect. So we look forward to hosting other classes here and continuing that partnership, because it is so important for our community to have that.
Thank you. Thanks for that clarification for the audience too.
Make sure it's right. So that concludes my report.
Thank you very much. Unfinished business that was on the agenda, just in case I got some more formal information. So Swinging Bridge, I don't have anything more than I've already reported. Just for your information and for the audience's information, the annual town meeting is coming up in April. And in preparation for that, it should be known that March 1st would be March 1st is the last day for any 15 or more registered voters in the township to request an agenda item for consideration by the electors at the annual meeting by giving written notice of a specific request to the township clerk. So if there's any burning issues, this would be the time to present it by March 1st, because then at the March meeting of this board, we have to approve the agenda for the annual meeting. And that is all of those parts of the agenda. And next would be the approval of warrants. And who would like to present the warrants?
Trustee Blau moves that the board authorize and ratify payment of the bills identified on the general warrant February 2022, in the amount of $12,953.19, as presented to the board this 9th day of February 2022.
Thank you. I have a motion to accept the general warrants, or approve the general warrants. Do I hear a second?
I'll second it.
Seconded by trustee Heilenbach. So I have a motion by trustee Clark, I'm sorry, by trustee Blau.
So
All you beginning of the alphabet people, honestly. I have a motion by trustee Blau, seconded by trustee Heilenbach, to approve the general warrants for February 2022 in the amount of $12,953.19. And there's no questions. Clerk Drapka, would you please call the roll?
Trustee Blau.
Yes?
Trustee Clark.
Yeah.
Trustee Carroll.
Yes.
Trustee Clark.
Yes.
Trustee Heilenbach.
yes.
Supervisor Wilt.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you. And the remaining warrants?
Motion by trustee Blau that the board ratify and authorize payment of the amounts indicated in the following warrant. Utility warrant for February 2022 in the amount of $2,533.15. Payroll warrant for February 2022 in the amount of $19,254.30. Health warrant for February 2022 in the amount of $2,199.37. General assistance warrant for February 2022 in the amount of $2,500. Township radio players warrant for February 2022 in the amount of $200. And food pantry warrant for February 2022 in the amount of $314.56. All the above are presented to the board this 9th day of February 2022.
Thank you. I have a motion to accept these warrants, to approve these warrants. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. I have a second by trustee Carroll. And the motion by trustee Blau, seconded by trustee Carroll, is as follows: to approve the utility warrant in the amount of $2,533.15, the payroll warrant in the amount of $19,254.30, the health warrant in the amount of $2,199.37, the general assistance warrant in the amount of $2,500, and the township radio players warrant in the amount of $200, the food pantry warrant in the amount of $314.56. A motion and a second. Clerk Drapka, would you please call the roll?
Trustee Blau.
Yes.
Trustee Carroll.
Yes.
Trustee Clark.
Yes.
Trustee Heilenbach.
Yes.
Supervisor Wilt.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you. Then that concludes our agenda. I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second it.
I have a motion by trustee Clark, seconded by trustee Heilenbach, to adjourn this meeting. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion is carried.